Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. I'm Kristi Shive, and today we are back with Natalie Taul. She's Family and Consumer Sciences Agent in Grayson County. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Kristi.
Natalie, we have been talking about productivity versus procrastination. Procrastination is something that we know very well. You gave us some great tips of ways to combat procrastination.
Yeah.
But today you are going to talk to us about productive procrastination. So, what is this?
So, productive procrastination are those things on your to-do list that need to be done, but they may not need to be done like right now. Okay. So, if we were to work on those things on our to-do list instead of doing that, if you remember me talking about eating that frog, that task that needs to be done, if we work on those other tasks, we're still reaching our goals, but we're not maybe doing the one thing that's the most important at that time. So I use an example of I actually did this earlier this week. I had several things that I needed to get done, but my office was a disaster. And my office needed to be cleaned and I needed to do some filing and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily as important as some of the program planning that I needed to be doing. However, I couldn't focus on what I was doing. And so I stopped the project that I was working on and focused my time and energy on cleaning my office, putting things away that needed to be put away, things that have been sitting there for months and months that, I could have done something with, but I didn't. And so I got my office cleaned and then I was able to come back and focus on that project for the next 2 days. So that's an example of productive procrastination. I tell a funny story about non-productive procrastination. And this is a true story. I was avoiding doing schoolwork and writing a paper in my master's program. And so instead of writing my paper, I cleaned my laundry baskets. I've never cleaned my laundry baskets before in my life, but that day, that is what I did in order to procrastinate writing my papers. That's an example of non-productive procrastination. That didn't need to be done. They weren't dirty. Okay. So think about that productive procrastination versus unproductive procrastination, because you can use productive procrastination to your advantage at times. Whatever that task is that you're just dreading, get it done and out of the way first so you can work on things that fill you with joy and productivity moving on. So.
But I think it is important to recognize that we do have days where maybe sometimes we just can't focus on that frog just yet.
Yeah.
So in order to fill our time, it's important to find ways to be productive procrastinators. So for me, I feel like I always have dishes and laundry to do. Those are pretty mindless tasks that I can get done, but they do need to get done. So if I just haven't found the focus yet, I could do those little tasks before eating the frog. But if we can, eat the frog first.
Right. Eat the frog first and take one bite at a time. We also talked about deconstructing those projects or tipping the balance. Maybe do one dish. And then as you do that, you get the motivation to go ahead and continue with that task. Oftentimes I find if I just start somewhere, even if it's super small, I can get focused in on something and then be productive in that moment.
And Natalie, I'm so glad that you started off by saying yesterday to think about why we procrastinate. We don't want to get too hung up on the why, but sometimes we might be hungry. And so before we can fully focus on a task at hand, maybe we need to eat or maybe we need to sleep and refocus our mind.
Rest is absolutely important. And I think just as a society, we have such a negative thought process on rest. We think we're bad people or that we're lazy. We are not. We are human and we need to rest. So if you're procrastinating because you're tired, then you're not doing yourself or the project at hand any good. Get some rest and then tackle it. So pay attention to your emotional and physical needs. Yeah.
Natalie, thank you so much for being with us talking about productivity versus procrastination. Thanks for joining us today on the Farm and Home Show, and we'll see you next time.